guys watch Santa Claus 3? You know, the really old movie where, I forget the name of the actor, but he's the same guy who plays Buzz Lightyear. Tim something, I think. And he's like, the dad kills Santa and then turns into Santa. And then and in number 2, he gets a wife. And in number 3, the wife is pregnant. And at the end, she has a baby. And the baby's name is Buddy. And I think that Buddy is the same Buddy from Buddy the Elf. It only makes sense to me. You may have watched my last video. This is basically the same thing, but with a different reason for those said inconsistencies. So last video, I talked about how it doesn't make sense for Santa to just basically kidnap a baby. Yes, he didn't take him on purpose, but he didn't take him back home. That nun never knows where that baby went. So I think that whole thing was just something that happened and they put at the beginning to show like, look buddy, this is what happened. To lie to him about being a human, when he's, in this theory, he kind of is a human, kind of isn't. Tim Allen, that's the name of the actor. I don't know what you want to call Santa. An immortal being? I liked it when he was called a guardian in Rise of the Guardians. It's another one of my favorite Christmas movies, even though it's not a Christmas movie, but most of it's set in the North Pole, so it's like, it feels like it is. At first, when I was considering this theory, I was like, oh, well, this Santa Claus doesn't have a, Mrs. Claus, so how could, he have a kid? But then I remembered that he does mention Mrs. Claus, when Mr. Hops, I think his name is, the dad, of Buddy, the dad of Buddy, needs to wear his hat and his, coat to pretend to be Santa. He says, Mrs. Claus made them for me. And so, there you go. Buddy is Buddy. And, you know, no human could survive and be skinny with all those, elf, food groups. Although, I guess you'd think that Buddy would still need to be chubby, being Santa one day? Although I guess if Santa is immortal, then why would he need to pass on the role to next Buddy? Which is then why, probably, Santa then started raising him as an elf, and then when that stopped working, he finally figured out that Buddy could do a new thing of spreading Christmas cheer. And so they sent him to New York, which was the place that had the lowest Christmas cheer, so much that Santa's sleigh broke down right after they got up in New York. And so they sent him over there, and it worked. Sending him to a guy who was right the naughty list, who just had enough grey area. Something that I forgot to mention in my last video was the doctor's test with the hair. So the doctor's test, the doctor, I don't know why I said with the hair, he does it with a pin in the finger and he keeps trying to eat the cotton balls. So the doctor does a test. But if you've ever done any test from the doctors, it takes a long time for those results to come. It doesn't take like 5 minutes like it seems to in the movie. And the guy comes out really happy, like, it's a boy, you know, he says. It's like somebody paid him to say that. Like, he doesn't give Hobbs any documents or anything to prove this. He just says it is after 5 minutes, and it's very, very suspicious, you know? So he's definitely not Hobbs' son. He's definitely not your normal human. Especially with all those toys that he makes. But he's definitely not a normal, if he is an elf, he's also definitely not a normal elf. And it makes sense for him to be Santa's son, because he's just that strange in between. And that in between must be Santa's son. Yes. I don't really know what to say other than just like repeating my last theory again. I'm sorry that this is the same theory twice, and you're probably like, so which theory is correct? Now that I am a bit older, I look into it a bit more, and there are a lot of things that don't line up. The Tim Allen universe and the Bunny universe are not the same thing, and it has now and the Tim Allen universe has now continued with a TV show, and the Buddy in that is obviously not the Buddy in Elf. But it was still a really nice theory that I had as a kid that I wanted to share with you guys. So there's my Buddy the Elf theory. You know, my headcanon is still kind of I don't even know what my headcanon is anymore, but Buddy definitely could be Santa's son, even if it's just in the Buddy the Elf series. It doesn't have to be that those two worlds are combined. It's just, you know, Buddy can't be a human and he can't be an elf, so he must be Santa's son. Santa does have a wife, even if they're not in the same universe. So tell me what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time on my next autistic rant. Bye!